we're going to review the games that happened last night, and I want to talk about Philadelphia then, basically. And so that's a good segue because the next on my list is those games from yesterday.
Okay.
I think you have some notes probably on some of these.
I do on some of them. Yeah.
I'd like to go through in order of the games as they happened. So the first on my list is New Jersey and Florida. The score was 3-2 for New Jersey. Did you watch any of this game?
I did not.
Do you know how it ended?
I do know how it ended.
Other than the score of 3-2?
Well, no, I don't know. I didn't know there was anything odd about the ending, although Florida scored 2 goals in the third period late.
It was 3-0 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And Florida scored twice. So it's... I mean, they could have scored a third there. There was only, I think, 19 seconds or something left after that second goal. But it's not as close as the score dictates. New Jersey played really well that game. And but, man, oh, man, there was a lot of 2-on-1s in that game from what I saw. So some defensive lapses for sure. The Islanders played Philadelphia. I watched a bit of this game yesterday. Islanders won 6-1. I'm not sure if you watched any of this game, but Neuwirth looked really, really bad. He looked tired, and he was left out to dry quite a bit. So I don't want to blame him entirely, but he really didn't look good. So he definitely has to have some of the blame.
Well, Islanders had only 22 shots.
And 6 goals.
And they got 6 goals.
I mean, there's a problem there.
Okay. Yeah. That doesn't add up.
Edmonton 5, Nashville 3. From what I saw of this game, I didn't see the majority of it, but I did watch some of it. It almost had the playoff feel to it, back and forth. Nashville scored, and literally on like the face-off after the goal, within I think 4 seconds, McDavid scored. Again, it was awesome.
And that's when I think they had a 2-0 lead.
I think it was,
and then Nashville scored, and then McDavid went down and went bang for 3-1.
Yeah, it was something
so it
like
just
that.
Completely snuffed any beginning of momentum that Nashville was trying to get.
Exactly, yeah. Saros did look good. I mean, Nashville lost, but Saros looked good. He made some incredible saves in the first period, but the Edmonton Stars looked better. McDavid was skating. Draisaitl was his usual accurate shot self, and Forsberg got a hat trick. I think 2 were assisted by Piquet Subban.
Okay.
I think on the power play, both of them, maybe at least one was on the power play.
Yeah, scored all 3 goals.
Yeah, and nice ones too. Nice wrist shots.
Cool.
Washington beat Calgary 4-3. I watched the majority of this game actually, and it was really back and forth. It felt like a playoff game. Did you watch any of that game?
I saw the highlights, and I didn't watch a lot of it, but I just saw. I guess I saw more than highlights. I saw like a game recap or something, but I didn't see the whole game.
It was really good. Washington got out early, and then I think they got 2 goals, and Calgary came back and scored, and really kept it close. It was lots of back and forth. It was a really, really good game. I hope someone out there got a chance to see it. I'm just going to remove this mic arm. If it's loud, I'm sorry.
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. But, the Montreal-Boston game, I know you've been waiting to talk about this. Montreal wins 3.
Did they play last night?
I don't know. Montreal wins 3-0.
Oh, wow.
Carey Price looked great. He made some windmill saves.
Yeah, he had a windmill save that they then posted side by side with one Patrick Waugh did probably 25 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And it was the leather. You know, it was the left glove leather and all the way around, and Patrick Waugh did a similar one. They could almost superimpose them one on top of the other. The only difference was Carey Price was a little farther back, closer to his crease, whereas Patrick Waugh had come out more for his.
Okay.
Otherwise, the body motions were identical. And I got thinking, was the windmill save just a show-off thing? And I've decided it's not. Because when you're flashing your leather out there to get that puck, let's say you only get a piece of it. If you hit the puck and only get a piece of it while your arm's in upward motion like that, chances are greater that you're going to knock it off its trajectory for the net.
That's true.
You'll knock it up instead of just slightly in another direction. So I think there's a science to the windmill save. That being said, they look amazing.
Well,
they're gorgeous.
Another thing is too, even if you're right there, and I think you are, your hand doesn't, for a goaltender, doesn't rest in a natural position of being up. Your hand is down as a butterfly stance. So your arm's always going up to make glove saves.
That's true.
So
that's a very good point as
when
well.
they probably just keep it going a little bit. For
Yeah,
some
that was great. Thank you very much, Gary, and thank you, Patrick. You've given me many joyful moments over the years.
Exactly.
Carey Price looked really good in that he looked non-spectacular again.
He just looked normal.
He looked normal, which is amazing. When he's normal, Carey Price, he's the best goaltender on the planet because it's all about positioning.
Yeah.
It's all about where he's at, so he doesn't have to do those extension-type saves.
Yeah, he's a very good positional goalie for sure.
Yeah, but there were a few where he had to bring it. But most of the pucks that he stopped, he had a good look at them. He could deaden them and kill the play and smother the puck in front of him and go to a whistle.
This win was more about Boston being not great, more than Montreal being good. Montreal played decent. Gallagher scored a very pretty goal. But most of Boston's shots came from the outside and right in the breadbasket of Carey Price, and they just didn't really have the effort there. I don't know if they were tired from a previous game or what, but
I don't know.
They didn't look like their usual Boston self.
They didn't, and all the regular players were there for the most part. They had, I think Krug is out, but Marchand and Bergeron, they were all playing. Gallagher's goal where he dekes a cherry and walks in and just he picks a spot now. Of course, your Glenn Healy's of the world and your what's his face Kelly Rudy. It's all about the different goalie equipment, and they're still not adjusting to how wide they are when they try to close off that post. It's all about the equipment change. But I think it's about laser shot. In the case of Gallagher, it was a beautiful goal.
That's your biased opinion?
No, it's not biased at all. It's very scientific. I thought Domi's goal it's a little garbagey because there was just such a scramble in front.
And there was going to be a penalty on that play.
There was.
Anyway.
The arm was up, and he was about to blow something down, and then the arm went from up to pointing into the net and then pointing at Domi. Although it looked like, I forget who else had their stick right in the corner there, and I thought maybe it bounced off another Canadian stick. Didn't matter, as long as it went in. Then there was a goal that was called back.
Yeah, Boston actually scored in this game.
They scored, I think, a goal that Carey Price would have wanted to have back.
Absolutely.
Because it was
a floater almost.
It was a floater, and it went in over his shoulder. But it was offside at the blue line. It was clearly offside.
Yeah.
I thought it was the minute it happened. I said,
I thought that too, yeah.
They better review that damn goal because I think it's offside. And sure enough, they did, and they reversed it. If that goal had not been overturned, it would have been 2-1. I think the whole complexion of the game changes.
Totally, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of luck there, because just by an inch or two, that goal would have counted. And I think Boston did pour it on the third period. They poured it on hard. Montreal did what it often has done over the last several years, and they get a bit more defensive, which is the worst thing you can do. But for the most part, they played in Boston zone for the first two-thirds of the game anyway. And in the third period, Carey Price had to be himself to get that win. He wanted to pass Patrick Roy to get into second place. He wanted to do it by a shutout if he could. And near the end there, it was getting close.
Getting dicey, yeah.
Oh, man. And at one point, number 24, Montreal.
Deneau?
Yes, Deneau, sorry. Price went up to him and said something to him just before a face-off, and I don't know what exactly it was, but the puck was dropped. Deneau was over along the boards, and one of the Boston players tried to shoot from just in front of him, and he went down and blocked the shot with the inside of one of his knees, and when that puck hit him, he went down. I mean, he was in bad shape, just momentarily, like probably just a big stinger. It wasn't permanent damage. But then the puck went back towards the blue line, and Deneau, there was no way he was going to get off the ice. So he got up as far as his knees. And when the puck came back towards him, and by then Buffalo had pulled the goalie. They're down.
Buffalo, eh?
Or Boston had pulled the goalie. They're down 2-0, and it's less than 3 minutes to go in the third period. And they're coming on really strong. And Deneau is over there on his knees after this block shot, manages to get the puck along the boards and get it across the blue line and clear it. And then he can stagger to the bench.
Good effort.
A fantastic effort. And afterwards, Carey went back to him and congratulated him for helping him out. What great team spirit they've got right now.
Cool.
Yeah, it was Deneau. This is just, he didn't even play last night. It's the first game he hasn't played. He has a minor upper body injury. So I won't say who it is until I give you the quiz question.
Oh.
Who's the player in the Montreal Canadiens with the best plus-minus rating right now?
Noah Juleson?
Yeah, Noah Juleson. +9.
Yeah, he's +9.
+9. Do you know which team has the highest plus-minus rating in the entire Atlantic Division right now?
In the entire Atlantic Division?
Yeah.
Based on the team we're talking about, I'm going to say Montreal.
It is. Yeah, they're +8 or +9. And there's other teams very close, of course, but that 3-0 win really shoved them up there. So they're doing really well. Yeah, so I guess that's the extent of it. The last thing I'll leave it with is Price's numbers. When the game started, he was at 2.48 goals against average. And when you have early games in the season, when there's a smaller sample size, he went from 2.48 to 2.13.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
And his save percentage went from 906 to 922.
Ooh, that's better. That's better.
So all in all, a pretty decent game.
Yeah, pretty decent game.
Oh, yeah.
The Toronto-Winnipeg game, this one was tough.
Oh. Wow.
So it's good, though, because, I mean, I was rooting for Winnipeg because I didn't want Toronto to get those 2 points, but Toronto really showed a lot of resilience in that third period, coming back. And
especially without Matthews at that point.
Yeah, because he left, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did that. That's how you have to win. Games like this is exactly the type of games you look for when you look for a cup contender. Teams can win every night of the week and be good, but when you're down in a game 2-0 in the third period, the games that you can come back in that situation and win, that's a Stanley Cup caliber team. So
yeah,
pretty cool to see.
A lot of grit, determination, and facing adversity. Not only adversity on the score sheet, but adversity in that you've lost arguably your best player. And he may be gone for a while, the way he went off the ice with that bad shoulder. And they move Kadri up into his spot. Kadri gets a goal, and they score all these goals in the dying minutes of the third period and walk away 3-2. And it must be heartbreaking for Winnipeg. Hellebuck, I'm sure, played a great game prior to the last little phase of the third period.
And it's not like if they were playing Detroit, no offense to Detroit or Detroit fans, but if they had came back in the game against Detroit and scored 3 goals and won, people would have been like, oh, well, I mean, they deserved to win regardless. They're kind of playing Detroit. Detroit's struggling a little bit, but they did it against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg's playing really well. Like, they're a Stanley Cup contending team.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they not only came back, but did it against Winnipeg, even more impressive.
Yeah. And the 2 goals they got to make it a real game they're 26 seconds apart.
Yeah.
And you wonder if Winnipeg had that same collapse, deflation that Montreal always has when they get scored on late. Because Montreal's blown some third period leads.
Oh, more than a couple.
And actually, there's one this year that's just devastating, where they had a 1-goal lead with 1.5 minutes to go.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. All right.
Buffalo and Columbus. This is the game I didn't get to see any of, but Columbus won 5-4. Isn't it nice to see Buffalo be competitive?
Oh, it's absolutely, because it was overtime.
They took Columbus to overtime.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
This
on
is
the
great.
road.
Yes,
Columbus was the home team.
I'm to be honest, I'm jealous I didn't get to see any of that game because it looked like it was pretty good. St. Louis and Chicago. St. Louis won 7-3. I didn't get to see any of this game either, unfortunately, but it looks like St. Louis is starting to get their team back. Really, they have had some moving pieces in the offseason and stuff, and maybe some chemistry issues at the beginning of the season. Goaltending starting to come around a little bit, so hopefully this trend keeps up because I do like St. Louis. Yeah.
They played a great defensive game. They limited Chicago to 19 shots in the whole game.
Oh, only 19 shots?
Only
Wow.
19 shots. And Jake got 16 saves, so
cool.
Good for him.
Minnesota beat Colorado in a very close game, 3-2. Did you see any of this game?
I did not.
You should go watch the highlights if you can, and look for the Dumba hit against Kerfoot. Kerfoot was entering his zone, and Dumba he was skating backwards and then just stopped and kind of pushed forward and just leveled Kerfoot. It was a very clean hit. It was awesome. It's one of those hits that you only see about once a week. So after this podcast, go look for it. Now this game, Arizona versus Tampa Bay. Arizona won 7-1.
What?
Did you see who was in net for Tampa?
I didn't.
It was not Vasilevsky.
Oh, it wasn't. I see now.
Louis Domingue.
Yeah, Domingue, yeah.
So he was in net, and that's not really a shot at Louis Domingue. He's a good goalie, but he did have a really tough night last night. He let in some terrible goals. And more so, Coyotes just played good. They were skating so fast. They were breaking into the zone, stealing pucks in the neutral zone, stealing pucks in the offensive zone, and turning them into goals. They just played a really, really good game. Did you see the goal that Tampa Bay scored?
No.
You have to go look at it after this podcast. It was the weirdest damn thing.
All right.
No one knew where the puck was, and it went in the net. So I think it was Tyler Johnson over on the side of the boards, and he was the only forward for Tampa in the zone, I think, and he just kind of like threw it. She tried to throw it kind of behind the net or something like that and go for a change. I think this is what happened. And it kind of went off of the Coyotes' defender's stick up and over like everyone's head, and Antti Raanta is just standing there. Everyone's just standing there, and then the puck goes over. It was the strangest damn thing. Anyways, yeah, definitely have to go check that out later. And then the final game, the Pittsburgh-Vancouver game. Pittsburgh won 5-0.
I watched all of this game.
Did you really?
I did. I PVR'd it, and then what I do every Sunday morning is I get up early, and I watch games I was able to PVR the night before, and I fast forward through the commercials and some of the banter. And I was able to watch the entire game in probably an hour and 15 minutes because I did stop and watch for some of the commentary. And as much as it was a 5-0 game, it did not reflect the degree of play Vancouver had. Vancouver actually was, maybe for the first 2 periods, very competitive in this game. It was only 2-0 at that point, and Vancouver still had a chance to get it back. They had a very, very unfortunate penalty called against them. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
There was a Pedersen. No, sorry. Just let me find my notes here. In the right, yeah. Sorry.
What's going on?
Just give me a second here. I got to go through my notes.
Again, is it Peterson or Patterson?
Well,
because apparently he said his name is Peterson.
He said
but
that
then
many
other
times.
people are saying no, it's Patterson.
Yeah.
But he himself said his name was pronounced Peterson.
The last time I heard him say what he wanted, he said Peterson. So that's what I would prefer.
Did he
to
change
use.
his mind again to Patterson?
If he did, I haven't seen that video yet.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's lock this down, guys. Someone send me a concrete answer here.
Anyway, I can't find the.
It's okay.
I can't find my note. But anyway, the penalty was a Vancouver player got 4 minutes for high sticking because there was blood.
Yeah.
But if you look at the replay, there was clearly, his stick was still on the ice. A teammate of the player
this happens every once in a while.
got high sticked.
Yeah.
Or did the high sticking. It was all accidental. They always are. And yeah, that's what happened. So Vancouver's in the box for 4 minutes. Now, during that 4-minute penalty, Pittsburgh took a penalty as well. So for 2 minutes, there was 4-on-4. And no one scored in any of that. So it all zeroed out at the end. But it was early in the third period when that happened. And I think it was still a 2-0 game.
Momentum change.
It really, because Vancouver maybe they were building up a pretty good offensive push against Pittsburgh at that time when this all happened, and it just took the air right out of it. So very unfortunate. And because of that, because we have video replay for goals, we have video replay for icings, or offsides rather, I think in cases like this, especially if it's going to be a 4-minute penalty, the NHL head office, wherever they are, Toronto, I guess, should be able to call back to the arena and say, look, before you drop this puck, you need to come over to the side and look at your little iPad and see that the penalty you've just called actually did not happen. Because that regular season's bad enough. But if this thing went on in the playoffs, it would be devastating.
What would you think about the idea of employing another referee, not on the ice, put them in between the benches, or put them in the other side where the clock is, whatever, strictly for reviewing stuff? They see something on the ice, whatever, and immediately they have the replay there, and then they make the call. The referee, the licensed referee in between the benches, makes the call based on the replay. And they don't. So the referees on the ice don't have to come over and get their little iPhones out and their little iPads and review the play with their headsets. They can go over, talk to the referee that's already in there to make the decision, and then he just lets them know because he's a licensed referee. He has the ability to make the call.
I'm okay with that.
Good, me too. Let's get her done.
Let's get her done.
NHL, you listening?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm all in favor of being more accurate.
Yes.
Just being more accurate. And it was just a perfect case. A perfect case. Maybe this is one they can use at some board of directors meeting in the future to say, look, see, here's another one. Now, as much as I say Vancouver played well, they did, no question. They play a lot like Montreal, actually. They're just very, very fast at getting the puck back out of their zone and back down the other way. A lot like Montreal. And usually that results in a win for them, just not so much last night. But there were some bad lapses in defensive coverage. There's a goal where Crosby, he goes right between Goodbranson and Delzato. They're both backing up. It's a 3-on-2. Crosby's the guy in the middle, and he just skates between them. And then he gets the puck, and it's over. And there was a few other goals like that where Crosby or Malkin is just left over to one side and no one even looking at them.
Yeah, Crosby scored a really nice goal. I think it was a tic-tac-toe play.
Yeah, it was
very nice.
Just beautiful.
Did you see the Markstrom save in the first period?
I did.
The skate?
Yeah, they were starting to call it the Scorpion save, but the skate didn't come up high enough. But it was amazing.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Highlight reel for sure.
It was just amazing. So that's... they did another honoring of Bob Cole again. They announced that he was calling that game, and he was. You know, Bob Cole's a little sharper this year than he was last year, but he still doesn't know what's going on out there.
He's still calling wrong names and stuff.
There was a time when Nicholas Hagelin was involved in the play, and you don't need to see the number in the jersey to see it's Nicholas Hagelin.
He's got long hair.
There's enough hair flying out of that helmet that it can't be anybody else.
Yeah.
And Bob Cole did not know who he was because he was
frustrating.
never positioned in a spot where Bob could see his number. And Bob's bad for that. He'll talk about the play and, here it's shot back in. Oh, it's a nice clearing pass, but he won't say who did it because he just doesn't know. And that's unfortunate. He's still an exciting hockey broadcaster, and this is 50 years, and I'm okay to give him all kinds of free passes, especially this year. But it is pretty sad. Something else I noticed, and this is something that a lot of people don't pick up, but since I used to be a rink announcer, when there was 1 minute left in the first period in Vancouver, they forgot to say it.
Oh, really?
It was not there at all. I went back and listened. I said, did I miss the announcement of the 1 minute? Because I always wait for it. And it wasn't there.
Only you would... Oops.
Jeez, are you...
Sorry.
Easy on that.
This is why we need new mic arms. This is why,
seriously,
we seriously do need new mic arms. The audio is good in these mics, but everything else, crap. Anyway, you would be the only person to notice that.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that wraps up the review of the games from Saturday.
I found my note. I thought I'd written it in where the game was, but it was down here with other notes, just more general notes about penalty replay. Yeah, they called a penalty on Roussel, 4 minutes, and it actually was Simone from the other. From
so
Pittsburgh.
the only thing in your notes was just the names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
Yeah.